Hello, Magi here, and we're going to be doing something very different today. Today should be October 6th. It should be about 3 years since I started uploading Touhou videos on my channel. Technically, it should be the 9th, but the 6th is on a Thursday, which makes things easier. Anyway, with this video, I'm going to be remastering my first interesting Touhou facts. If you recall, I did a remaster of my top 10 funny Touhou pictures, something I really enjoyed. For one, you could actually hear what the fuck I was saying. Anyway, while the first episode of Interesting was alright, I feel my delivery and tone could be refined. Another to note is that I'm featuring a person to help me out with this episode. Let me introduce you to another YouTuber who makes Touhou stuff, especially those Touhou theories. TheOVJM. Not a name that rolls off your tongue. Regardless, introduce yourself.
Well now, I guess it's enormous warm terska to all of you. My name, as Magi said, is TheOVJM, and I'm here to take over Magi's channel. Or to help him with this remaster. But yeah, not sure how I should introduce myself. I've been into Touhou for about 3 years by now, little longer than the original Interesting Touhou Facts #1 has been out. When it comes to Touhou fandom, I'm a lore nerd at its finest. Not a day goes by when I wouldn't find myself reading through some article from the Touhou wiki or some Zun's work. And as Magi said, I like making those realistic and not so realistic Touhou theories. But other than that, there really isn't much to tell about myself, except the fact that Magi's original Interesting Touhou Facts #1 was the first video I saw from Magi, so it's more than my honor to help him with this. But that's enough waffling on my part, so Magi, please continue.
Like you heard the good man say. So, without further ado, let's begin the Interesting Touhou Facts #1. Remastered. Number 5. So good old Marisa, while being a powerful magician, which is really impressive as she's only a human, isn't exactly the most, well, moral person in the cast. To be fair, she still leagues beyond some of the other girls like Sega when it comes to morality, I think, but that's neither here nor there. So what's so bad about Marisa? The girl lies. A lot. I mean, she's a bloody compulsive liar, so that's not a good start. Homegirl was lying to the point where she straight out said she never lied once in her life to Eiki. Smooth, Marisa. The equivalent would be like if Zun told us he never drank beer. And I'm sure Ginsoke will blow up if that ever happened. To note, Eiki is the last person you want to lie, as she's going to be judging you after you die. So lying to a judge doesn't put you on a good note. Either way, the punishment for Marisa's habitual lying would be the removal of her tongue. Marisa even joked about getting a second tongue to combat it. That's one loophole, I think. Well, never mind, as Eiki would also remove the second tongue. At least she tried. Believe it or not, it gets even worse. She's a kleptomania. Kleptomania is a condition to have the urge to steal things without personal use or gain. As an example, Marisa will bloody jack your computer even though she wouldn't know how to use it. And even then, her place doesn't have electricity. Better hide your shit! While Marisa may be my favorite character, I'd have a better time having a conversation with Sagumi than trust Marisa with anything of mine. I can't be the only one there. Number 4.
As many of you know, Suwako is one of the 2 main gods of the Maria Shrine. And if you didn't know, well, now you do. But as a god, she has certain abilities as do most other gods. And one of her magnificent abilities is to create earthiness. And apparently earthiness is considered a viable word, according to Magi's open office. Not that I can complain, since my open office won't recognize anything as non-viable English word. So let's roll with that. But what I'm getting at here is that while giving Suwako abilities, Zun was like, "But wait! There's more!" That can be expected though, since she is a god. And what a better way to tell to the players that Suwako is a god, other than to make her be able to turn into a frog. Now the only thing we need is Sir David Attenborough. But this frog form she can turn into has more tricks up its sleeve than some desert rain frog. Apparently, she can grant blessings for safe travel, financial upturn, and transfiguration. Suwako, the god of capitalism. But still, even after her frog form, frog-style clothes, and frog sigil in Grimoire of Marisa, she still isn't a frog god for some reason. Maybe frogs wouldn't get her enough faith, or she's just afraid of being frozen by Jirno. Who knows?
Number 3. Although it's only October, I want to discuss the holiday season, specifically Christmas. For those who are somehow not wary, 'tis the season of free shit. If you're a kid, that is. After that though, it's a costly event for y'all. The cool thing is that our world isn't the only place that celebrates Christmas. Gensokyo also does. Sorta. You see, Sega is also someone who's fond of this holiday. Not only that, she even dresses the part as Santa. That's more effort than I put into the season. There is a difference between the hermit and the jolly old guy. You see, Sega doesn't climb down the chimneys to hand you gifts. It's shown in Symposium that she breaks into people's homes and sells them toys, saying it's from Santa. Huh. Last I recall, Santa wasn't the type of guy to sell kids shit, but I might be rusty. If the residents are sleeping, then she takes something valuable from them. Well, fuck. So I either get my stuff stolen from Marisa or Sega. Might as well be asking if I want to get punched by Suika or Yugi, cause other options are bullshit. Number 2.
Weapons. Everyone loves those. Unless you're a pacifist, but hey, you don't need to hurt anything to create a big boom. But let me ask you, what's better than a regular F2000? Well, the obvious answer would be 2, but this time it is to give it some dope-ass superpower. In Touhou, weapons like these, though usually not firearms, are not too uncommon. Actually, many of the girls have something magical to beat your teeth in with. Some have bows, some furnaces, some goheis, and some swords. We are gonna talk about one certain sword, the Sword of Hiso / the Sword of Scarlet Perception, owned by Tenshi, that blue-haired asshat. And that sword, oh boy, that sword is capable of doing stuff. For an example, it can absorb life force, control the weather, it can be stored in any form, shapeshift to exploit enemy weaknesses, talk about bullshit ability, and of course, like any other sword, it can be used as a boomerang. Better watch out for that Australian kangaroo Tenshi. And I can totally agree with Magi that Tenshi's sword is almost like the Green Lantern's ring, though sword that can do all this is way cooler than a ring, at least in my opinion.
Number 1. Time to talk about one of my favorite facts even still to this day. When it comes to the main Touhou games, the characters will be Reimu and Marisa. Zune might add others into the mix like Sakuya, Yomu, Sanae, and more recently Aya, Chiruno, and Raisin. There's also more characters in the fighting games, but let's focus on the main ones. In EOSD, we know the playable girls to be Reimu and Marisa, the first 2 playable for the Windows era. Now, the crazy part is that there was a planned 3rd character. I was like, holy shit, that's mind-boggling. Let's reveal this so-called 3rd playable character. If you're looking at the image now, this person is called Rin Satsuki. Now back in the first episode, I mentioned that this picture was a possibility of what Rin could have looked like, as there was never any official artwork for this character. It appears that Rin's wiki page was updated after my episode, I believe, as it was confirmed that this girl wasn't Rin, but instead Team Shanghai Alice's poster girl. At least we learned now. With her appearance still a mystery, let's focus on other aspects of her. If you're asking why Rin was cut off from EOSD, Zune stated in an interview during Anime Weekend 2013 at Atlanta, Rin was removed from the game due to time constraint. The reason we learned of her was that there were files about Rin. Her name was still in the game coding, and there were her shots as well. They're 2 shots, similar to Reimu and Marisa. They're called Wind Sign and Flower Sign. Additionally, shown in the data files by using a tool to rip graphics from the game, There is an unused character in the stage 1 enemy sprites that look much like the character in this picture or circle cut, although there's a possibility that this was originally going to be Rumia. That's all the info that people could gather in EOSD's game file. The next part is purely speculation regarding Rin's possible occupation. Based on a remark by Marisa in her extra stage, Rin is theorized to be a nurse, but like mentioned, just a theory. Here's Marisa's remark in the extra stage. Maybe I should have said nurse. This is referring to the fact that when Marisa met Flandre the first time, she called herself Reimu. Flandre knew immediately that Marisa was bullshitting here. So that's the reason why this nurse speculation came up. Maybe Marisa thought lying about being Rin would have been better than Reimu. There's another thing regarding this whole nurse deal. In modern Japan popular culture, the Kirin is often conflated with the unicorn, examples of Final Fantasy and Monster Hunter, which has healing powers. This would suggest a connection between Kirin and nurses. So yeah, that's everything we could gather about Rin. If she was the third playable character in EOSD, so much shit would have changed without a doubt. Maybe gameplay, definitely story mode, and don't even get me started with the fan-on stuff. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed my remastering of Interesting Touhou Facts number 1. Which facts were your favorite? Would you want Suwako to be a frog goddess? It would certainly help Slippy here. Would you be down to wield a broken ass weapon like their Sword of Hiso? And what are your thoughts about Rin? Would you have loved to see her included in EOSD, or are you fine with how it turned out? Personally, I'd be so down to see her becoming a character. The amount of changes regarding Touhou would certainly be something else, alright? I gotta give a shout out to TheOVJM for joining me in this 3-year anniversary gift deal. Anything you want to say, homie?
Well, other than I'm ever grateful for you to invite me to narrate few of these facts, I'm not sure if there's anything else I need to say. Well, of course, there's the obvious. If you haven't already subscribed to Magi, you should do it. The original Interesting Touhou Facts number 1 was the reason why I'm subscribed to him. So I hope that this video would make more people to press that ever so juicy subscribe button. And you don't need to be afraid, I won't be ruining the mood of the future Interesting Touhou Facts with my barbaric accent, if that's what keeps you from subscribing. But I think I've said everything there needs to be said. I'll go back to my own chamber to create even more absurd theories regarding Touhou lore. Thanks for Magi for giving me this opportunity to narrate for this episode, and thanks for everyone who have made it this far in the video. TheOVJM out.
Thanks, man. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and subscribe, or else Marisa or Sega will be robbing my house. And that would piss me off if that happened. Before I end it off, I want to say thank you once more to everyone who has been watching and following me for these last 3 years. I want to continue this if it weren't for you guys' support. So again, thank you so bloody much. Anyway, like always, this is Magi, and thanks again for watching.